Welcome back to East Coast DNA. It's your host, Darcy Walsh here, and another returning guest this year. We have Ben Murphy back. Thank you for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me, Darcy.
So, I am wearing a little Somo shirt, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So, I
I
did run
appreciate
into
that.
you. We had some pop-ups there for Somo that I was following around with my camera and doing some video for. And I ran into you at the finale of that series there. So very, very excited to see what's happening there. But the real, more immediate news, you have a huge lineup this year for the Cavendish Beach Music Festival. And starting off, it's Shania Twain, which
Yep,
just
the legend.
huge. So,
Yeah,
well, what was the decision like to move the schedule? Because the Shania announcement really, for me, as someone that follows the stuff, highlighted that you were shifting the weekend, so it was Thursday to Saturday rather than Friday to Sunday type deal.
yeah. Obviously, we've been after Shania for a number of years, like probably since we started. Realistically, I was trying to get her to
Sure.
come, and she ended up coming in 2014 to PEI, not with us, um, for one of the celebrations. So that kind of took her out of our runway for a bit. So then,
Mm-hmm.
having to have her back touring, and then for us to be able to get her this year, we were thrilled. And yeah, the Thursday or Sunday, depending on the year, is something that we just kind of play with.
Hmm.
Is we moved it to look for Luke Combs to a Thursday. It's really kind of who you can get, and we can be flexible, and I think uh, our fans have said they can be flexible too. Is
Hmm.
if you get the act, they don't care what day it comes.
Well, and you are like, I mean, we chat a little bit before I start recording too, but like the event that you have there, and specifically the Cavendish Beach Music Festival, is like the biggest festival that we have in a region, but it's also probably one of the most long-standing.
Yeah,
Right.
I would have to think so. We started in 2009.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been 15 or 16 years with a couple questionables in the pandemic there. So I don't know how many exactly, but
Hmm.
yeah, no, I think that's a testament to the team and the success that we've been able to create. Is you've seen lots of people come in and out of the industry over those years, and our goal is just to continue to be here and continue to bring some of the best artists in the world to Atlantic Canada.
And you're definitely living up to that goal. So maybe we'll do a quick little rundown to some of the key acts that are playing the rest of the weekend. And now I'm going to jump in right before I let you get into the headliners. It's the lower in the earlier in the day bands,
Sure.
the ones that are coming up first. Those are the ones that I'm hearing the most about now. Like when you announced your headliners, everyone's like, "Oh, the announcement's been made." But I'm hearing a lot of buzz about a lot of the bands that are playing through the day leading up to the headliners too.
We love that.
Yeah, it's that's for me, it's one thing for me to be interested because I follow a lot of those acts and I have some friends that are on those stages.
Yep.
But to actually hear legitimate buzz from the general public when I'm out in the scene, it's a great thing to hear for music festivals because usually it is people will say that they don't necessarily know who that is or they're aware of them and they maybe don't know the songs, but it seems to be that people are putting a growing focus on the kind of festival atmosphere that they're not just going like they're going for the day. They're not just
Yeah.
going for the last band.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we pride ourselves on too, is like, well, it's 50 plus acts hit
Hmm.
three stages over the weekend. So, I think I said this last year to you. One of my favorite things with festivals in general is walking by a tent and like catching your ear and you're just popping in and being like, oh, who's that?
Hmm.
So, and we put a lot of effort and time into researching and going to small shows and talking to people about those acts throughout the day and making sure that they put on a great live show or that they're up and coming, because that's a little bit of the difficult part about this business is we're trying to pick who's going to be hot, 6, 8 months, 10 months out.
Yeah.
So when we first booked like Wyatt Flores last year to open for Laney, like he was not nobody, but he was just on the cusp, and
Hmm.
obviously, he's selling out little amphitheaters and stuff now. So that's been great to see. And then yeah, you work your way down the lineup. I think we have one of our strongest we've ever had.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm hearing lots about it. So Lainey Wilson's huge name out there right now. So I, without getting into Tyler yet, if I even just look at those two names of Shania and Lainey being announced, it is really interesting because of what you're talking about too, that your events seem to do what everyone kind of strives to do in balancing like the legacy acts that people are super familiar with, like the type that if I mention them in passing to somebody, they're like, oh, I know all of their songs from the radio, to
Hmm.
like the up and coming acts, which there's definitely a fan base out there, but the general public maybe doesn't know who they are as of the time that your team has secured them for the festival. But from my point of view, in digging into these artists and having the opportunity to interview some of them leading up to the festivals, you do seem to have your team really fine tuned and figuring those up and coming acts right at the right time. Because they do seem to all be really exploding right around the times of the performances right here in PEI. So I know that's really difficult, but I don't know. Can you talk a little bit about the team that you work with to actually pull in the talent?
Yeah, like we obviously gather opinion. Like we have a team of probably 7 or 8 people, like even just on our Whitecap team, who
Hmm.
they're in the business, who thoroughly enjoy music. So they're sending us people or sending me people all the time of, hey, check this person out, check this or whatever. And then we use a family business out of Michigan who's been with us since day one, on who helps secure some of that talent through the big agencies in the States. So they're on the pulse as well. So there's a lot of listening to music and a lot of conversations that kind of happen to get to this point where you have an act of, or you have a festival with 50 plus acts
Hmm.
from really all over the world, with a focus on Atlantic Canada. And I think that's something that sometimes gets lost in the equation.
Yeah.
Is all of we have a full stage basically devoted to emerging artists, and a lot of those people are from Atlantic Canada, and a lot of them it's their first festival or their biggest festival and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And then on the kitchen stage, which has been probably one of the most popular, probably one of my favorite spots, is like we got Adam Baldwin playing there this year. Like Rum Ragged's there closing out right before Laney, so like very high energy, great opportunity
Oh yeah.
for some of these acts to create kind of those new fans that maybe, that Shania or Laney fan that doesn't listen to or talk about music as much as we do all the time, but to catch their ear and pop in.
Yeah. No, it's a great opportunity. I know that the few people that I know personally that are playing those stages too, they're always very happy for the opportunity, and they always take full advantage by putting the effort in to make sure that they deliver a killer showcase when they do it too, because they want to keep coming back and get the bigger stages too, right?
That's the goal. That's, I think that's one of the probably the coolest things about being in it for so long is we have these acts that either move up stages or move into later time frames
Yeah.
in the day, which is, pretty cool. Like we had like Maggie Maroney, who's obviously a massive star now. She played, I think, at 3 o'clock in 2022 on the main
Yeah.
stage. And people kind of just forget about it. Even Sam Barber, same thing. First time Eric Church was here, he opened for Toby Keith. So like
Yeah.
there's lots of cool stories throughout the years, and the longer you're here or we're here, the more cool stories we get to kind of be proud of.
Oh, and I definitely, for anyone watching at home, hopefully they're picking up from this too, that show up early to these shows. Like if you have, like, I mean, if you don't have a work restriction or something preventing you from getting there early,
Even
definitely
if you
take the
do,
time. Yeah, work from your
hey,
phone. We have cell
yeah,
phones, but
work remotely.
yeah, I think that you probably could in some, especially if anybody goes for the upscale ticket prices and they're over like in the hayloft or the VIP areas, they definitely be able to get a little bit of elbow room to do some of that.
For sure. I haven't seen too many laptops on the tables over there, but you never know, right?
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll start a new trend. And I mentioned that your team, but like I do see them out in the trenches because like myself, I'm out there checking out bands all the time too. So I've gotten to know various members of various teams that work with you. So I can attest to the fact that they are actually out there putting in the footwork and actually taking in those shows to have actual opinions on who they're dealing with. So it's great
Yeah,
to see.
our team does a great job, and they they're all very passionate about the industry. They love kind of supporting acts from all over, but especially Atlantic Canada. And again, we talked before we got on about just the experience, and I think they're
Hmm.
all so proud, take such pride on trying to continue to raise the bar of that festival experience, of that concert experience, of trying to make sure that that person who might not be comfortable in crowds or might not be comfortable but still loves music, that we're giving them a space where it's very comfortable for them to come to our grounds. Things are well organized. Things are priced appropriately, and just an overall great experience while also providing great music.
And I mentioned your team, and we did talk about like a little bit about some logistics a little bit before we started recording too. But now that I've had exposure to a lot of different events and seen different formats for how things are run, one thing that I did also note, and I think I maybe mentioned this on one of our previous chats that I released as well, but you yourself are there on the ground a lot of the times, and specifically at the festivals that you're hosting. I've seen you out there like picking up garbage and like watering flowers, and I've seen you doing a little bit of everything on site. Like, so it's I don't see that very often. Sometimes I never even see the people that are running the festivals. I'm aware of them through email. So it's great to see that you actually take the time to be out there amongst the people that are taking in those events, but actually contributing. Like you're putting, if you see something that needs to be done, you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to write an email to make sure that somebody looks at that. You just make sure it gets done. So it's
Yeah, and that's
definitely good.
that comes to as I thoroughly enjoy going to music festivals. I thoroughly you know uh, enjoy the whole challenge of putting on a party for 20 plus thousand people,
Hmm.
and obviously growing up in the hospitality industry, that experience and that of coming through the gates and all that stuff, that is so important. And I think we don't do enough of it, like social outings, getting out with friends, all that stuff. We're doing less and less of it. So I think when we do it, and when people are deciding to spend their money with us and come to PEI, and it's nothing's cheap. It's the responsibility that I take seriously, but also try to instill that down to the team too. Of just these guys are the reason we're all here, is each and every fan coming through the door, and yeah, hopefully we we're always tweaking and trying to improve, and so it's good to hear that people notice sometimes.
And I'm a little nerdy with this stuff too. Like I realize that in talking to some people that maybe don't follow industry stuff, that sometimes when I get passionate about talking on a topic, they're like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about, nor do I care. But some of those logistical things, if you have it nailed down perfectly, it's more so that nobody noticing is kind of a good thing because it means that there's no complaints. But
100%.
I do like to see the changes from year to year, whether it's a new type of wristband or new scanners at the door, or like what I like the technology. Whether or not I like the actual process remains to be seen based on each different improvement. But I do like to see what things are being tried out there. So, is there anything that you've tweaked or improved for this year's event that I might want to keep an eye out for?
Sure. What did we do this year? We added a GA plus area, so we've added a new ticket type over by the corporate, and kind of revamped the corporate suite entrance. But so GA plus, basically, kind of a little increase to your GA ticket, where you'll have your own bathrooms, your own bar, your own little area where you can kind of just go hang out with
Hmm.
one. There's a food vendor in there as well. Doesn't necessarily provide viewing to the stage, but it's more of like an oasis from the crowd and from the people. So we've seen that at a couple of festivals. So we're trying that this year, which so that looks great. we did the wristband only payment last year, so we're which worked out good, but we're going to add back in debit and credit this year, so you can use because not everybody liked putting their credit card on their bracelets.
Hmm.
So we're adding that back in, and I think that's important too. We'll try anything, almost
Yeah.
anything, I guess. And if it doesn't work 100%, then we just switch it again the next year. And so
Hmm.
you're always seeing what works, what doesn't, and yeah, those would be two of the kind of main things. And you'll see some improvements in production too. I think like last year we tried a new, again, not that maybe not now anyone noticed, but like we split the delay towers in the back to provide better sound to the people in the back, which got it's probably not great reviews. It's more of you didn't hear complaints about like
Yeah.
the kind of space and sound in the back. So that was really nice, and we'll have a bigger video wall this year. So all small things. Again, to your point, we might not get credit for all of them, but you're not going to hear the negative of not
Yeah.
having them either. So that's exciting.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that's the reality, but the lack of negativity is actually almost as good as a positive comment. So
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I definitely like to see those things, and this will be my third of the country festival. And
We
then
love it.
hopefully in the fall, I'll be back over there for Somo as well. But for today, we talked briefly a little bit about the lineup. And for anyone watching, I'll have links down in the description below. So definitely go out and check out who's out there because, as we talked about, it's quite an extensive lineup if you decide to take in the full event. But we kind of brushed over Tyler there. We talked a little bit about Laney, and a little bit about Shania. So I'm wondering for today's chat if maybe you want to pick a song from his catalog that we could play off with today.
Oh, from Tyler's kit, maybe
Yeah.
5'9", maybe. I think that's one of his big hits. I'm
Yeah.
super excited for that night
Yeah.
with a little bit of everyone, but we have like Waylon from New Brunswick there. He's kind of early in the day on the kitchen stage, which should be buzzing. That's going to go into Steve Wilson Jr., probably one of the acts I'm most looking forward to personally. That
That
weekend,
he's the name that keeps coming up. I mean, I'm not playing favorites. I have an inbox full of people that want to chat with me when I'm on site, a few interviews
yeah,
we do ahead of time, but his name as far as the general public buzz that I hear when I'm out, if I mention Cavendish Beach, people mention his name almost immediately. So
yeah. So he's kind of one of those guys that we got lucky, or however you want to say it. And yeah, I think him into Tyler, who Tyler's got like just a full catalog of hits, and that's
mhm,
something that we try to do. So that'll just be a great night of music and a good little party. So and then I think Pretty Archie maybe is closing at that stage or
amazing.
the kitchen stage. Sorry. So yeah, well, I think Friday night's going to be like a sneaky little fun night.
Yeah, Pretty Archie's probably somebody that I should get on the show at some point. I've been around them quite a few times. That's one of the few East Coast bands I don't have direct connections to. They always have a huge, it's like that kitchen party style, but like they always have a huge room full of people that are really pumped to be there. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to see how that mixes in Cavendish because I know like Cape Breton bands will bring their entourage with them to the stage.
yeah.
Like you might have 30 to 50 people that traveled over behind the band that they're just big fans of that band. So it will be really interesting to see what Pretty Archie does on your
We have
set.
lots of Cape Bretoners come over, so I'd imagine it'll be busy during that set.
Yeah, no, it's very very exciting lineup. I mean, the weather has been a little back and forth. We've had some rain, but like the days that are not rainy are beautiful to the point that even a little bit of sprinkling is kind of welcome sometimes.
Yeah,
So
we got a little last night, so
yeah,
it helps keep the dust down. That's the way you
yes,
say it there.
exactly.
So
And actually, I have a nice crisp new East Coast DNA hat on today, but last year with dust, I noticed I started getting the red stains from the actual red mud of the island. So
we love to hear it.
yeah, I'm gonna wear that one back this year, make sure I get it fully dyed by the end of the weekend.
We love that.
Well, I'm gonna thank you for your time, and we'll play off with this song. But I'm making plans, as I mentioned to you, to head over to the island myself for the event. So I'll look for you on site. Make sure I stop by, at least say hi. I know
Please
it's a
do.
busy weekend, and definitely stay in contact because there's a lot more to come in the future. We'll be covering this event, but the lead up to Soma, I'm sure we'll be doing some promotions as well.
Yeah, love to. Look forward to it.
Right. Thanks again, and we'll talk real soon.
See you next weekend.
Jack makes good whiskey. Red dirt makes good riding roads. Country makes good music for kicking up dust in a taillight glow. Dry wood makes good fires. Good years make good swings. All that's all good, but for me, God makes 5'9" brown eyes and a sundress, loves Tim McGraw and a small town accent. Ain't no way that me and this truck made her fall in love. Jack makes good whiskey, but God makes the good stuff. Oh, God makes the good stuff. Like that sweet little kiss she lays on me when I pull up in the gravel drive, the way she dances with the raindrops, like she's the reason why they fall from the sky. And I thank him every time I close my eyes. God makes 5'9" brown eyes and a sundress, loves Tim McGraw and a small town accent. Ain't no way that me and this truck made her fall in love. Jack makes good whiskey, but God makes the good stuff. So I'ma make sure he didn't waste an angel on me when he made 5'9" brown eyes and a sundress, loves Tim McGraw and a small town accent. Ain't no way that me and this truck made her fall in love. Jack makes good whiskey, but God makes the good stuff. 5'9" brown eyes and a sundress, loves Tim McGraw and a small town accent. Ain't no way that me and this truck made her fall in love. Jack makes good whiskey, but God makes the good stuff.